Yodelay hey, yodelay ho, yodelay yodelo yodelo ho, 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 yodelay hey, yodelay ho, yodelay yodelo yodelo ho. All right, I finally did it after lifetimes, centuries, nay, eons. I finally did it. I have started watching Downton Abbey, and I know if you haven't watched it, it's probably because, like me, it's for one of two reasons. Either A, you were, or actually, it could be a third reason, or about a million other reasons. My two main reasons were one, everyone else wouldn't shut up about it, right? That's like a really annoying reason to not watch a show. Like, even I annoy myself. Like, I see other people enjoying things, and I know, like, there's probably a reason they're enjoying it. Could it be that it's actually an enjoyable thing? No, I need to deprive myself of it just because I don't like the way they're enjoying it. Something about someone else enjoying something too much, or whole groups of people enjoying things, and then them not shutting up about it. Anyways, and then the other thing was, I don't know if they do a very good job of advertising or doing marketing for that show, because I had the totally wrong idea about it. I thought it was much more dry or something. I don't know, but right off the bat, it sucked me in. It's very interesting. I think perhaps I like that it's about both the aristocratic, like the rich side of society, and like the servants that are working there. You see both sides there in that abbey, right? Plus, Ygritte from Game of Thrones is one of the servants working in the house, so that's a plus. Now, this Downton Abbey is not a real place. Like, that's a fictional estate, I suppose, but it's filmed at a real place called Highclere Castle, which would be cool to go to sometime. I don't know. I haven't been to Europe at all. I'm kind of intimidated. I mean, there's probably so many cool big houses and castles and amazing things to go look at scattered all over the place. But apparently this is also where some shots were filmed for Jeeves and Wooster, that show with Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, the show off which that search engine was named Ask Jeeves. Is Ask Jeeves still a thing? I'm afraid if I type in askjeeves.com, if I'll get a virus. No, they have news on that site now. It's just ask.com. Poor Jeeves. Poor Jeeves. He's once again been informed that his services are no longer needed. Speaking of period dramas, another one I've been watching that's a little bit different is one called Dickinson, whereupon Haley Steinfeld plays the titular character of Emily Dickinson, the Belle of Amherst, Massachusetts. And, she was a poet that lived in, the 1800s. And it's pretty interesting. I like it. Some of the elements of the story, like what they dress and how they dress, what they wear, the setting, the events that happen, because there are some things known about Emily Dickinson's life as far as events that happened. All of that seems to stay pretty true to how it might have really been. But then they take some other elements of the story, like the music, the soundtrack, and maybe what the characters talk about and how they talk. And those elements are really modernized. Like, there's really modern music, and it keeps it really fresh and upbeat and kind of exciting. And I can see how some people really wouldn't like that. Like, it's like, hey, if I'm watching a show that happened in the 1800s, I want all of the soundtrack, the music in my show, to also be music, that was made or played or listened to circa 1800, so on and so forth. But I think it just kind of helps make it feel more fresh and modern and current because the people who were alive and living those events felt like their lives were fresh and modern and current because their life was happening to them. So it kind of makes it feel like the TV show is like a real thing because those people really they were alive. At least some of them. There obviously were some fictional characters there, but I'm pretty sure Emily Dickinson was a real person. Kind of helped to humanize her, make her seem like less of a mythical, made up figure in my mind, Even I feel like stuff like that kind of does happen. Like even if I know something is real, like I mentioned Europe earlier, I've never been there. I know it exists. There are people who claim to be living there right now or have, I've really only seen it, heard about it in movies, TV shows, textbooks. And I tell myself I know it's over there somewhere across the wide blue ocean, but maybe it doesn't, Somewhere in the back of my mind, I think maybe Europe, actually everything outside my walls right now that I can't see could be a fairy tale. It's kind of weird. I try not to access that part of my mind too much. All right, that probably didn't make any sense. All right, and really quick before I go, 3 movie recommendations for you on a theme. Okay, the theme of these 3 movies that I'm going to recommend to you is deafness and or hearing loss, which may or may not be the same thing. I'm not sure. All right, the first one is one I've watched several years ago, and it's still stuck in my head. It's called Perfect Sense, starring Eva Green and Ewan McGregor. Okay, it's an apocalyptic science fiction film. All right, and in this movie, people gradually lose all their senses, and the 2 co-stars fall in love at the same time. That's all I'll say about it, but it's a pretty good movie. I like it, and I'm just looking at the thumbnail of the trailer. They're wearing masks, just like people are these days, because there was like a weird sickness, plague going around. All right, movie number 2, watched this one like a year ago. Sound of Metal, pretty good movie about a metal drummer. He's in like a metal band, and he's a drummer, and he starts losing his hearing. The main character does, and this movie is really good. Enjoyed it a lot. And usually, if I enjoy a movie that's not a comedy, if it's some sort of drama, it means I cried for like half of it, or usually at least at the end. This one was no exception. I watched like the first half of it in French with English subtitles on before I realized that it's actually in English, and I had just accidentally had it with French Dubs. So don't worry, it's in English. Or if you speak French, you can put it on French. It stars Riz Ahmed. I don't know how to say his name, but I saw him first in another movie called The Night Of, I think. Some HBO. It might have been a mini-series. That one was also pretty good. Anyways, and the third movie I'll recommend is called Coda. I just watched that like a week ago, and I think that's the acronym maybe. I don't know how popular acronym is. Child of Deaf Adults, it might stand for. And that's about like some high school girl. She lives with her parents and her brother who's deaf. She helps them fish, but she's not deaf, and she loves singing, and she meets a singing or music instructor at school who encourages her, and she goes on from there. Pretty good movies. I'd recommend all 3 of those. All right. Let me know if you have any movie recommendations. I like crying, okay? The sadder, the better. Or, it doesn't have to be sad. Sometimes you can cry from a movie without it being sad. It can just be moving. All right. See you later. Goodbye. Take it easy.